Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. This is part 9, and we're still on the toolbox, which is all the tools on your left-hand side. We've gone through all the way through the parallel dimension tool, and now we're going to talk about the drop or the shadow flyout, which is this is what it's going to look like, your shadow tool. Really cool tool for graphic type people or printers. Not so much for engravers, but if you have the shadow tool, you can grab your well, I had the envelope picked, or the word envelope, but we're going to go back to the shadow tool and grab the center of our shadow, and it's going to put a shadow around your object. You can change the center, you can change the intensity, you can change the location, you can change the color by bringing in another color like a lighter color and have that shadow. You can increase the intensity or take the intensity away. Pretty cool when you're making a shadow of something that is supposed to be, setting there. Let's make it a black shadow, and it looks like it's actually a shadow, and you could go all the way to the edge and have it like that, squash that up and have it look like it's coming from different angles. So that's your shadow tool. The next tool under this is the contour tool, which is really important. You cannot just take this star and Control D and then hold down the Shift key like normal and make it grow from the outside for a couple of reasons. One, because the center of the star, but you can see the tips are further apart than the other, so you need to contour that. So just grab that, go to the contour tool, and just contour it. I need to go, I don't ever use this one, go to the outside contour, and you can contour it like that, and you can kind of see it. And then you can change the steps. I want, more contours. I want my space to be less or more. And let's just change this to 0.5, and you can see it change the contour. I don't ever use that too much, that part of the contour. Um, I use the contour under effects, which we'll get in later in another series that's going to go over all your menus and stuff. But that way, everything's equal when you use that contour tool. The next one is the blend. I didn't get ready for the blend. You can blend like a square that's big. Hit the plus key on your keyboard. Make this one small by holding down the shift key and making it small. Then selecting both those and go to the blend tool and blend it. And just go from there to there. And it's got up here blend 3 times, blend 4 times, blend 2 times. And you can see that it made it smaller as it blend. And you can change, where it would be perfectly equal between the blend. You can blend colors. Let's make this one blue. I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard and move it over and make it a light blue. I'm going to go ahead and take the outline away from both of them. I'm going to grab both of them. I'm going to right click, and we can use the blend tool from here and just grab it from the center and go to there. And this is pretty important when you can do a lot of blends and have different colors and different intensity of colors. Um, you have to go back to the blend tool. You can make it more of a blue and less of a light blue, or vice versa. If you go too far, you'll get that. But what I was saying about making colors, you can always go to Object, break the blend apart, and now you have a particular, go to Object, Group, and ungroup it. And then you have a new color that's in between that dark and that light blue that might not be on your color scale. That's another way to make a color. Blending is, pretty cool. You can take a square and an ellipse and blend them. I'm getting used to, because I've never really used this blend. I use the blend that's in the other effects. Now you see what's happening here is distorting it, and what happens there, take your shape tool, let's turn them both into curves. select them, go up to Object, convert them to a curve. And then if we look, the arrow is going right to left. This one's going left to right. So we need to take this one and right click, or either one of them, in reverse subpath. Now the arrows are going in the same direction. Now we can take our blend and go from there to there. And what it did is taking a square and try to make it round. Something I very seldom ever do, but if you ever have a problem with the blend tool making some weird effects, it's because they're going the opposite direction. So I always suggest when you're making a shape, hit the plus key on the keyboard and move it over, and then that way they're going the same direction. So I didn't do it right, and then just take your blend tool, go from the center to there, and you can see it's perfect. Now if we go back, and if we take this one with the shape tool, we'll turn it into a curve so you can see the arrow. See the arrow? Let me turn them both into curves. The arrows are going the same direction. We're going to select this one, right click, and reverse the subpath. Now when we take the blend tool, we go from here to here. It doesn't do that. It's actually turning them. And really it's doing what you're telling it to do. The next tool in this flyout is the distort tool. It's kind of neat, but it actually happens so fast when you're distorting something. And it's because I've got mine set on pretty heavy. Let's put this on like 5. Let's back up here. So it's on 10 now. So it's just going to distort it a little bit. And you can make some pretty cool shapes with it. You can distort boxes, and there's distorting a blend. I don't use that tool very much, but it's pretty cool. The next is the envelope tool that you're going to find you're going to use more than you think you're going to do. If you have some text, works better if it's all capitalized, and when you go to the envelope tool, you can do this, and you could do this, and kind of make it like a text to path. You can take them all, right click, and turn them into a line. And then when you do this, it'll make a line of that text, and you can make fonts like that, or make them the same on that level. There's a lot, and I've got several videos on the envelope tool if you want to get more into it. Just search my video for envelope tool. The next one's the extrude tool. I took away my box, so let's draw. I'm holding down the control button. Let's go to the extrude tool, and let's extrude this. And what you're doing, you're making it look like a real box or something, and you can change, there's some presets where you can go from different directions and get different things. You can change the depth to like 5, and it won't be as much. The extrude tool is pretty cool when you're trying to make something like that. And one of the big reasons for the extrude tool is that, well, in that particular case, you can't do it. But if we go here, then you can rotate this blend or extrude and get the whatever direction you want it to be. It's in a bad spot right now. If we move it over a little bit and then do it so we can see it actually working. It's going to look weird in some cases. You're kind of just turning around, making a 3D effect. That would look pretty cool for a sign or a piece of wood. And just to go a little bit further, you can always go Object, break the extrude part apart, and then you could take away lines that you're not supposed to be able to see with your virtual segment delete key. And like shouldn't be able to see these lines here. If you were doing this, you shouldn't be able to see that line. And that way it kind of looks like a piece of wood or a box that you should see in the shapes that you should be able to see. The next and the last in this is the block shadow. Real important. I use it a lot. I've done a lot with it. Take that font, go to the block shadow tool, and just, you can actually see it working. Well, why isn't it working? There we go. And just have it go like down there, and it's kind of like a 3D looking thing. You can, the neat, and there's several things you can change here. Just play around with it. But you can go to object and break the shadow apart, and then actually pick the front letter or the back letter, whatever you're going to think's the shadow, and fill it in with blue. So it looks like a 3D effect. And then you could always take the main letter and make it a light blue or whatever color you wanted. And then you could always right click and put an outline around it, put an outline around that by right clicking the mouse on the black or on the hairline. And then you can always make that hairline thicker. Let me move this out of the way. You can make the outline thicker, and there's a lot you can do with this. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit.